All right. Hey, we're a minute after. Let's get going. Well, Garish just messaged that he's going to join. So Pranav and Vanil, we were just catching up. There's going to be a little bit of background noise. I'm going to try to be muted, but just so happens I'm in the airport. So I thought my trip was quite special, and I'd gone to a 5-star hotel, and turns out it's old news to Pratik. He's kind of been there, done that. So Pratik, I don't know if this makes it better or worse, but I got a chance to go horseback riding, and yeah, especially a pain in my butt is how special it is. And yeah, all my bones hurt. Oh, nice. Okay. Well, so we've got Garish, who's probably signed in as the wrong user, but that's fine. So we're a couple minutes after. We've got, be sure, guys, to record your attendance. But we've got Pranav, Pratik, Vanil, Garish, and Pavan. So very good. A couple of general, so feel free to record some. I think Vanil, you might not have been here just this last time. I know you, but we began to change the format of the meetings a little bit, and that was to, given the number of participants, it was to really kind of set it up such that we would go around the room. Not entirely like a stand-up, but a little bit like that. Kind of what updates you have this week, and kind of what are we looking to accomplish next week. Before we jump in, before we go around the room, a couple of quick updates, or at least I think we've got two general updates. One being, I think these notes that you're seeing right now in the meeting minutes are probably from last week. I was half expecting either Nick or Jake to show. Jake, the Shopify folks are running a large Istio deployment, and Vanilla, I think you'd heard some of their questions about Istio performance, some of their concerns. So they seem to be excited about the project, which is good. Nick Eberts was particularly interested, I think, in the Linkerd adapter. Not quite sure yet if he's looking to contribute or not, but either way, I do consider. I did have a discussion with some of the AppMesh folks just as I was taking off this morning, and they won't be able to contribute an adapter this month because, and this meeting's being recorded, that doesn't really matter. I mean, you could guess that they're going to GA shortly with that offering. So in the month of April is when they would come back and in earnest consider the creation of an adapter. Garish which is nice. Garish has been working with Octarine a little bit, and just met with them, I think, earlier this morning, talking about their adapter, familiarizing them with the sample Istio adapter, and they'd recently updated their deployment to have a Helm chart-based deployment, and so they're off and starting. Anyway, what I was saying before is Nick was particularly interested in the Linkerd adapter. I do consider that, between Istio and Linkerd, those are the two most prominently used service meshes. It is important for us to get to a Linkerd adapter relatively shortly, and by shortly I mean there are a couple of upcoming presentations. We've talked about some of these before, so I won't repeat the ones that we've talked about before, but one new one to add to the list is that we are being asked to present at KubeCon EU to basically present, in essence, this project and Meshery. And so ideally, and I think what's going to be impactful and helpful to the audience at that time is to show what results we have, and that's people are clearly interested in the tool and using the tool, but for many, there are some that are interested in the tool and using the tool, and some that are, but everyone is interested in performance results. So it's a good stake in the ground, to have had some results by then. So I'm gonna be done. Maybe the last general update was that there are a couple of smaller presentations to give, and it's fine that we don't have results yet. But the first one that results would really be probably expected is at Container World. And I think that's around April 12th. Again, I had said to you guys I would send you guys some of the details of these meetings and conferences so that either you can attend the meeting, or if you're coming to the conference, if you're going to be at the conference, so someone like Vanil, who might be at KubeCon EU, I suspect, Vanil, maybe let's catch up and make sure that that each of you guys are getting called out in the best of ways. Oh, okay. Okay, I think those are the general updates, and just checking back on roll call. Yep, we've got the usual suspects. So, okay, I'll be quiet and let you guys let us go around the room. So actually, Barish, I think we've probably done ourselves a disservice with kind of copying all the notes from last week. So I'm just going to delete most of those. And who'd like to go first? Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, very good. Yeah. Well, first of all, just it was fantastic to be able to meet Vanille in person, and then moreover, he treated me to a nice Fleming's Steakhouse dinner, which was even better. Well, Vanilla, man, if it makes you, this is probably going to make you feel worse, but I just got done having the same thing happen where I went out with a friend yesterday at the Open Source Leadership Summit, and I left my wallet in the hotel, and so I guess I do it to everybody, just but. Did you want to speak to the so Pratik, Pranav, Pavan? I guess that sets some precedents. So next time we meet up, if you guys are meat eaters, we're looking at a steak dinner. Nice. Okay, yeah. Hold me to it, and we'll do it. Vanilla. Point of interest, though, the blog post that you ended up writing up. Do you may want to share that with the call here and speak to it a little bit? I couldn't find the mute button. Yeah, vanilla actually, in some respects, um, running a Meshery performance test against that is almost a point of interest as like a another frame of reference for how here's an extraordinarily lightweight proxy, or at least in terms of Go and user space and etc. Yeah, yeah, because it's not really doing anything. Yeah, and I think Vanilla is probably aware of this, but I'm not sure if how much we've discussed this here. But some of you guys are familiar with Berkeley packet filters, or BPF, as it's both a kernel and user space way of it used to just be way of filtering and intercepting network traffic really before those packets went all the way up into all the way through the network stack, all the way and so anyway, it's a way of BPF now has been enhanced as a way of writing small programs that you can inject, or rather have BPF execute those programs to filter traffic in a much more performant way. And so some work has been done in the ecosystem for using BPF as part of the traffic management capabilities here. Yeah. I would say it again. I couldn't hear you. Yeah. That's a great point. Another project in the ecosystem is, and I just actually shared a rental car with him. There's a distinguished engineer in Austin, Texas. He's at Cisco. His name's Ed Warnicle, and he's been working on a Cisco project called Network Service Mesh. I put quotes around it because it's kind of a generic title, but it's compelling. The VPP and the speed by which that that architecture runs. Be good to be more educated on that project and some of its performance, and a bit of how it compares functionally to some of the other service meshes. Because if someone's really interested in performance, it's that type of architecture, that type of technology they might want to lean into. But if someone wants good performance, but but a lot of functionality, that might lead them to a different choice. Okay, so I'm going to update some of the notes here, but Vanilla, any other? Just as we look toward this coming week, it sounds like trying to land an update to the protobuf that we have between Meshery and the adapters to include first class error message as a first class citizen. For the UI, yeah, very good. Yeah, that'll be very nice. The real-time responses, it having more of an application feeling, would be nice. Oh, very good. Okay. Who's next? Sorry, who's next? I think I muted myself.
See that city where it's a skytrain right there? Yeah. See the front, the rivers are running?
That's a good lie. And then I met you.
Please do not leave luggage unattended. All checked-in carry-on baggage is subject to search. Please report any request to carry articles for others or suspicious behavior to either law enforcement, airport, or airline officials.
Atención por favor. Se prohíbe estacionar vehículos frente a las aceras de las terminales, ya que vehículos estacionados podrán ser retirados por grúa. Para su mayor conveniencia, favor de usar los estacionamientos contiguos.
It could have been worse.
That's fantastic. That'll be an awesome milestone for you, Pavan. Yeah. And then Pavan, I think maybe one other item. Were you able to take a crack at a quick update to the architecture slide, just with some further details? Very good. No problem. As you go to do it, if you would, it's kind of nice that we have two versions of the slide, of the architecture. One that is a bit more, I don't know. One that's a bit more high level and logical, so that people can generally take a quick look and get a sense of how things are working. This second one, so I guess what I'm asking is, as you go to update the slide, it may be that you want to put in a lot of the granular detail into either the second slide here, or I don't know. You might be able to squeeze some of it. I guess we got pretty detailed on the first one. Yeah, and maybe just some port numbers, and I guess there's this different representation of like, hey, this one is logical and saying, hey, these are the different components and what capabilities the components have, kind of what they do, what their purpose is. Whereas this other version is a representation of the actual type of infrastructure. So it may be slide 2, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
Right now, we have to go next door.
Nice. Yeah. But it's a good, just to clarify then, of the Meshery SaaS Docker container that you're able to run, that you've got up and running inside of your EC2 instance, is, you and Garish may have already spoken on this, but is it, Garish, remind me again. Sure. And then in terms of ongoing updates and the deployment of them? Beautiful. And I guess I was trying to ask, is that included in the Terraformed? Sure. Oh, no. Don't bite in, man. Don't even respond, Palan. Don't get in. Oh man. Yeah, hey, I can. My video editing skills only go so far, but they do include a trim, like a clip, so we can clip. Hey. That's right. Yeah, it really is. Very nice. Yeah, very nice. Like maybe just one other quick question for Pratik and Pranav of the advances that you guys have made. Sounds good and logical. You've got, there's much more familiarity, functional deployment, sample app deployed, and even a bit of workload generated. It's an early question, but any commonality, any insight that you've gleaned through the throughput and latency numbers that you've seen thus far? Just, are you seeing consistency in those, inconsistency, or are you seeing, are you running? Good deal. Good. That's confidence inspiring. Just I think we're over to you, I think.
Atención, por favor. Se prohíbe estacionar vehículos frente a las aceras de las terminales, ya que vehículos estacionados podrán ser retirados por grúa. Para su mayor conveniencia, favor de usar los estacionamientos contiguos.
vacation.
All right, thanks.
All right. Well, he is, he's pretty open since he's retired, he said.
She's in there. Okay, I'll be back.
That's nice. And do users right now, and recognize we're there are many iterations of this, but right now it seems like users will continue to look at a static set of data from the chart.js from 4.0, while over time the other statistics can continue onward, which is fine for right now, but just something to contemplate and consider later. Does the Grafana SDK have the ability to define start and stop? Yes, yeah, to access the basically time. No, that's great. And no, and it's fine. And I just mean, yeah, as we move forward, one of the use cases will be that what we may end up wanting to do is beautiful. Yeah, I think we're saying the same things. As a matter of fact, I think Rish, you put it well in that sort of the use case that we're shooting after is, hey, during the time by which I ran the test, I'd like to also look at, basically a synchronization of the time that I'm seeing the results and the time, the throughput and latency. What do you call it? Synchronized over the results of the rest of the environment, and then ultimately later on, kind of to Pratik's point, it's like, okay, yeah, that's very helpful. That's what I'm looking at. But also, I don't really remember, like, is that the norm? So it would be convenient to be able to have a quick drop down that says, show me over the last week, or show me the last couple of days, or the last hour. Nice, very good, very good. Let me I'll interrupt just because. And then going forward, Garish, this begs the question so we had initially desired a Grafana integration because Grafana is powerful, capable. For Istio, at least for Istio, you get some out-of-the-box statistics, and there's a bit of infrastructure set up that facilitates the gathering and display of these things, and it's great. We don't want to go reinvent the wheel, and so this is good. And so, not knowing quite how that integration worked, we used the simpler thing, Fort.io, and that Fort.io not only is capable of displaying statistics, it's also capable of generating the load, and so this is great. And we went back, understood Grafana more, and we kind of arrived where we are now, which is great. The thing that we'll want to ask ourselves is if we can consolidate potentially to just one of these charting libraries, to just one of these interfaces, so there's uniform experience across them, uniform controls and things. Doesn't mean we have to arrive there. If we're tying in synchronization of time from, of what we just said a moment ago, that can help tie them together, and maybe Fort.io or the chart.js that's being used for Fort.io, given that it really facilitates like multiple test result comparisons, that may be something that only Fort.io has, and it turns out we really just need to have that for those test comparisons, and that is more important than. But so part of the question in there is Fort.io able to generate the load, get the results back, and are we able to expose that to Grafana such that we would then review the results of those tests from within Grafana? And I think more than that, the second question would be, if that is possible, are we able to use Grafana to facilitate the multi-test result comparison that Fort.io gives us today.
All right, listen, I'm gonna walk.
May I have your attention, please? It is a violation of federal law to board an aircraft or pass through the security screening checkpoint with a firearm, knife, or weapon.
Su atención, por favor. La ley federal prohíbe abordar un avión o pasar por un punto de revisión de seguridad con armas, cuchillos o armas de fuego.
Yeah. Very good. These are good. We may not have the right amount of data to make a kind of a final directional call until we were to see just how much functionality or delay is injected by having to, through Grafana, and just whether or not the same in some respects, if you were to say, hey, just if you're going to deliver just the smallest amount of utility within Meshery to make it a decent tool that would be helpful for people when they want to perform these tests and look at results, you might be able to say, well, yeah, so Fort.io gets you there. It doesn't give you any context of what else is happening in your environment, etc. But it does that very, pointed thing. And what I'm getting to is, I think we need to go and see what the experience is like within leveraging Grafana's SDK to push some new data to it, point it to a new data source, have it do the new, and then we'll collectively know. The other issue is that then you begin to consider, okay, well, great, this is an Istio environment, and you might consider that most of the time Grafana will be deployed, but who knows what that will be percentage-wise from here out. And so then you'd say, well, just like Fort.io is kind of part and parcel to Meshery now, if we were going to rely on and build on Grafana, would it become part and parcel to Meshery, particularly in environments like Linkerd, where, hey, they don't have a Grafana deployment by default? So this is fantastic. These are considerations for us going forward. Guys, very good. Well, we are just a couple minutes over. Got lots of noise and activity in the airport. You guys might see a cancellation of this next week's community meeting, if only because it's spring break in Austin. Vanille and Garish, are you guys affected next week? Okay. It might be the case that we would cancel this next week just to, because folks won't be here, and for us to have a significant update 2 weeks later. I think by that time we would probably be seeing maybe the first contributions for the Octaroom adapter. So, yeah. Gentlemen. Thank you, guys. Enjoy spring break for those who are on it. I'll be on it, but I'll be working anyway. All right. Bye, guys.